Hello friends, do you play Dungeons and Dragons? I do, and I've done so since I was a teenager. So today I would like to share with you 5 character design tips that you can utilize when illustrating your D&D character. Now I want to start by mentioning that this video is sponsored by Wacom. I'm going to be drawing on the new Wacom One Tablet in this video. It's a lovely little tablet that Wacom has developed for art students. And I'm going to leave a link to it in the video description so you can check it out if it's something you're interested in. I'm going to be working in Adobe Photoshop, and for brushes I'm using a mixture of the standard Photoshop brushes and also Greg Rutkowski's brushes. I will leave a link for those as well in the video description. If you have been following this channel, you know that I usually work on a Wacom Cintiq at 27 HD touch, so it's a lot larger than this one. But the one is a really nice tablet, and Wacom sent me one to try out, so I'm going to have fun with that while talking to you about D&D characters. So my first tip is when you're starting out, you should give yourself permission to be messy in the sketching phase. Now you're going to see as I develop this character, it is really messy and really loose in the beginning. And that's because right now I'm just trying to get ideas down on the paper. One of the great benefits of working digitally is that you can always paint over, you can always erase. And I think when you're working digitally, you should really utilize that because it's a huge benefit. So you can be messy, you can explore. Don't worry about getting the exact right lines down as you're starting out. So what I'm looking to get down when I'm starting a sketch is I want to work out the body language of the character. I want to have some rough gesture lines. I want to have rough proportions down. And once that's done, I'm going to flatten this whole character down. And then I'm going to make a new layer. And on that new layer, I'm going to start working out nicer line work and a more detailed sketch. So that is tip number 1. Give yourself permission to be messy in the sketching phase. I've found that it really takes some of all the stress off from when you're starting a new drawing. So tip number 2 is use body language to express the character's personality. For this character, I was sent a description of a lovely woman named Pam. It's her character. It's a halfling rogue. And so based on the description that she sent me, I thought that this is going to be a really nice, kind of quirky, friendly halfling. So I'm trying to express that in her body language. You know, she's waving at someone. She has a pretty innocent smile on her face. She's a young halfling. And so I wanted to express in the drawing that she's a friendly and approachable person. And that's what I'm trying to do with the body language here. She's pretty relaxed, so her arm is down by her side, holding the bow up, for instance, and being ready to shoot. You know, if she was a more action-minded character, maybe I would select a pose like that instead. Now, we've already discussed this a little bit, but I want to highlight that when you're working digitally, you just have the huge benefit of being able to utilize layers, so definitely do that. Every time you want to try something out with a character, make a new layer, draw it on that, and see if it looks good, if it works out. If it doesn't, you can always delete that layer again, and you're back to your base drawing. So layers are such a huge benefit. This is especially helpful for an inexperienced artist. As you become more experienced, you're going to find that you won't need layers as much. You're going to be more confident in your lines and in how you color. Now, I do just want to mention that the drawing portion of this video is quite heavily sped up. I'm not sketching that quickly in person. Now, when we're illustrating characters, it's so important to express the personality of that character. And there are a lot of different ways you can do that. Now, we already talked about body language. So for my third tip, I want to talk about expressing the character's personality and history through the outfit and the gear and the items that they're using. So for this character, she's a halfling rogue. To show that she's a halfling and not just a small human, I'm doing those open-toed boots. I do know that in D&D they don't do that. It's more of like a hobbit leftover. I think Pathfinder might do it as well. But I'm a fan of it. I like hobbits more than halflings. Yes, I do. So yeah, that's a deliberate choice that I make. And then since she's a rogue, I'm going to be dressing her mostly in a leather armor outfit. So she's going to be wearing leather pants. The player told me that she is a little bit inspired by Pippi Longstocking, so that's why I kind of gave her those leg warmers that are pulled up a little bit under her boots. That's a Pippi Longstocking inspiration. And little choices like that just help to inform people that are looking at the drawing of the character what kind of personality they have, what kind of character they are. So when you're drawing your own D&D character, think about what kind of gear they're wearing. Think about what kind of items they usually use, and try to see if there's some way you can put those into the drawing that you're making. Now, if you're not drawing a full body character, you can still use this advice, but in that case, the hair of the character, the expression on their face, the expression in their eyes, their eyebrows become a lot more important, because these are going to be the things that are going to show the personality of the character. Now, to give you an example of this, here are some character portraits that I've done for one of my personal projects called Lock the Legend. It's going to be an illustrated novel that is based on a D&D campaign. And I'm going to leave a link. You can click up here in the corner to check it out if you're interested in seeing more from that. Now, this brings me into my next tip, which is that the life of the character is really in the face. So when you're drawing a character, you want to spend the most time on the face. So you're going to spend a lot of time figuring out, what their features look like, spend a lot of time rendering out the face and just really making it as sharp, as detailed, and as full of life as you can. Especially the eyes are very important. Also eyebrows, there is so much expression in eyebrows, so there's so much you can do with them to kind of change the look of the character and the expression that they have. So that's something to experiment with. Again, make a new layer and try that out and see what happens when you change these different aspects of the character's features. And you can see this character is looking a little wonky now. I'm trying out a lot of different things with the eyes and just trying to get it just right, get it to look the way I want it to. I'm trying to find out like how much is she going to be smiling. The cheeks are a little too big, and then the eyebrows are not quite right, and it's just a lot of experimenting and figuring out what you want the character to look like. Also, make sure to use reference when you are painting characters and faces. Use your cell phone, take a picture of yourself, and make sure you set up the right lighting. That's going to help you a lot with how the shadows and the light is going to look on the skin. If your own face isn't a match for the way you want the character to look, use one of your friends or look up reference images online. There's so many reference packs available for artists, both on DeviantArt and Gumroad, and just search on Google as well. There's a lot of websites that are dedicated to making artist reference, so it's out there. You just gotta be proactive and go out and find the things that you need. So that is the fourth tip. Life is in the face. Spend the most time here, and there's so much expression in eyebrows, and use reference. Now for my fifth and final tip, I want to talk about color. I love color. I love painting in color. Color is my favorite thing, but color can also be really tricky. When it comes to designing your character, think about which colors express their personality again. We're painting characters, so it's going to be all about expressing that character's personality and making everything unique to that character. So for this character, for instance, like she's a really happy, quirky, gentle, fun person. So I'm going with like bright colors. Now, if she was a more moody person or someone with a really dark past or something like that, I might go with something more darker or something more saturated. But because of the type of character she is, she's happy, she's quirky, she's fun, I'm gonna express that through the colors that she's using in her outfit. Now, when it comes to coloring your sketch, what I do is I make a new layer underneath my sketch layer, and on that I put in the base colors that I want for the drawing. And then once I have the base colors down, I will make a new layer on top of my sketch. And on that, I'm going to start rendering out the character. That way I never lose my drawing. I can always check back and see that the way I'm rendering the character out, the way I'm painting her, still is consistent with how I initially sketched her. And that is all for my tips. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to be back again soon with more content. So if this is something you like and you want to see more of, hit that like and subscribe button. And until then, I hope you are healthy, happy, and safe. Take care of yourself, take care of your loved ones, and I'll see you soon. And lastly, thank you so much to Wacom for sponsoring this video, and also thank you to my awesome patrons who are making it possible for me to do what I do. If you're interested in becoming a patron, there's a lot of cool bonus rewards and all sorts of fun stuff happening over there, so check out the link to that in the video description. Bye bye.